Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good morning. Hope you're all having a wonderful morning. Today, we're going to be going over some of the great features inside the website builder. Now, if you've ever used any other website builder out there, pretty much in the world, practically all of them, including our old one, you might be stuck in the 90s way of thinking when it comes to designing websites, right? So back in the day, people used to have the concept of row, column, cell, right? And then you start adding things to those cells to build your web pages. But if you ask any web designer, we get a lot of great feedback from a lot of web designers and everyone. They're like, they wanted something new technology. So we're using the latest and greatest. It's called Flexbox and CSS Grid. Now, if you're not a web designer, don't worry, you're not going to have to deal with any of that. That just happens automatically on the back end. But if you're a web designer, you'll be thrilled to know that you got this cool technology powering the back end in a new no-code environment. So I actually got one of the templates up here, and I'm going to show you how some of this works. And then I'm also going to dive into some of the image filters and different settings you can do to completely transform your images without ever leaving FlowTrack, which is really cool. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we want to do is I'm just going to add on a new section here. And so we got a new section. And for this, I'm just going to put in a background image. So I'm going to click on background, click on image. And now you can use the royalty-free image search. I already found one that I wanted, but you can just type in like gym, right? And you find a cool gym image. I already got that one up here. So I'm just going to double click on it, drop it into the background. So this is cool. I got a cool, picture of a guy working at the gym. Definitely something I need to do more often. And let's go ahead and I'm going to use heading for this. Let's add in some heading text. You've probably seen pages like this, right? The secrets you need to know, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll change that text to white. Now, it's like, it's kind of hard to read that text. What can we do? I could go open up Canva or Photoshop and manipulate that image, but let's not do all that work. Let's just do it all inside FlowTrack. So you can just go back into the image settings and we can mess with the filters, right? If we wanted to make the guy blue or something, we could do that. But let's not do that. We'll just go ahead and play with one of these here. We'll get this looking darker and we'll also make it gray. And I'll play with this one and kind of make it pop like that. So that's really cool. Super easy way to kind of build that image on there. So let's see, and let's go back in here. And so next, let's go ahead and start putting in a, let's say we'll do a grid. So I'll start putting in a grid and we'll do a 2x1 grid. And we're going to drop this on the page. And now we can go ahead and drop in an image on the right. And we'll do some text on the left. So we'll put in some text. We'll put in a subheading. And we'll put in, some sort of button. So we got that on here right now. So perfect. Now I'm going to minimize this. And I'm just going to, let's say, put the small one below it and drag it down. Cool. And I'm going to put in a bunch more text. So we can do that right here. And so the old way of doing stuff is like, well, if I want to push this text down, I can, let's say, change the gap above, right? And we can mess with that. But the power of the Flexbox is you don't have to deal with that padding or spacing because everyone's browser or screen is going to be a different size, and that padding is going to, look wrong most of the time, right? So with Flexbox, you can just open up this menu, and this menu, you can do awesome things. Like, let's say we wanted to reverse the order of this or have it start at the top or the bottom, right? Or even just have even spacing between these things, right? And so that's how easy it is to get that those settings. So definitely come in with the Flexbox and see how easy it is to organize your content in a flexible way, right? So no matter what screen size you're on, it's always going to be looking good. And on this side, we can just drop in another image and we can do the same thing, right? We can go ahead and add in some filters. Now you have a lot of options on here. If you want to blur it, do different stuff, make it a sepia tone, right? So a lot of cool settings you can do in here. So definitely come in and mess with all these settings. So this one will just make black and white. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just do the black and white one. That looks good. But this is a quick and easy way to take a full advantage of Flexbox and just say goodbye to all the rows, columns, and cells and the space in between items. this is going to automatically look really good. Now, let me show you another thing. So a lot of people do this when it comes to the menu or the top bar on your site, right? And so let's go ahead and add in another section. And on this section, let's say you got you got a rating, you got a button. Let's just say there's 2 buttons, right? You can have whatever. It doesn't really matter. So same thing with the Flexbox on a section, right? You might want to have something that looks more like a navigation bar at the top, right? And you want these things to be spaced around or horizontal instead of vertical. Well, again, just open up the Flexbox. You can say, well, let's make this vertical and let's make this have spacing in between, right? And so you can mess with these different settings to get it looking exactly how you want. So maybe I want to get rid of this other section right here, and I want to get rid of this padding. So I'll just close that out. And so now I got my top bar. But then you're going to get to the situation where you're like, well, this looks perfect on tablet and then on mobile, right? Oh, there's not enough space for my stuff. What should I do? Well, you can also use Flexbox for that, right? So you click on the Flexbox, and now we can just say, well, let's actually switch this to vertical mode, right? And so it's only going to change it on that size. So now every time I go to a different screen size, you can see it's like perfectly responsive and everything looks good out of the box. You can see everything else was automatically responsive because I just dragged it that way. So super easy to build these responsive websites, but definitely get in there. Mess with Flexbox. It's something that you need to know. Absolutely couldn't be easier. Just click around on these buttons until it looks good, right? And then you can get it aligned exactly how you want. But let me know if you guys have any questions. All right, so I got some questions in the chat. They said, will this training be available? Absolutely. So these are recorded, so you guys can watch this anytime you want. And next question is, how does the speed of the site compare with others? That is an amazing question. So absolutely, we blow everyone else out of the water. Compare us to absolutely anyone you can think of, and you're not going to find something faster than this. So let me pull up one of the speed tests right now, and you can see how fast this is. So I just made this new site. I'm sure you guys have all seen it, or at least most of you. A lot of people have been messaging us about this, but we have this site called blacklabelsas.com. This is a revolutionary new product that we released, the ability to sub white label. So I'm just pulling up this page right now so we can get the page speed on here. So let me see if I can share a new tab. Yep, I gotta share a new tab. So 1 second, I gotta figure out this one. I'll just open up in the same tab. There we go. I'll leave this site, and I got the Google page speed tool. Awesome. So let's go ahead and drop in this new site that we just made, right? So you guys can go to the site and see actually how it works and what the site looks like. But it's blacklabelsas.com. Just plug it into the Google page speed tool, and you can see what the page speed is at. So this is a 98 out of 100 on mobile and a perfect 100 on desktop. So can't really get any faster than that. I think we generate the fastest and cleanest code of any other builder I've ever seen in my entire life. So definitely check it out and compare us to anyone else and let us know. And then let's see, we got some other questions on here. Can you track when someone clicks a button? If you're talking about a button on your website, that I think that could be something you can do with Google Analytics. I think that would require some sort of custom code to tie into that click event, but you would be using something like your Google events. You can create custom events inside Google, and you can tie into that. Now, if you want help with that, definitely reach out to support, and we can kind of point you in the right direction on that. Maybe even we'll do another custom video on that one specifically. I think that a lot of people would love to watch that. And is there a live chat that other people seem to be using? You only hear on the Facebook Live. So, I'm using StreamYard to stream this. So when you guys put a comment, it actually shows up as a stream of comments for me. So I don't think there's no special chat room for this particularly, but just keep posting comments and I'm going to see that and I'm able to respond to you guys. And David, yes, definitely. The link to the training, it's going to be this link that you clicked on now, so you guys can watch that. But on that note, if you guys are interested in more great training, we actually have our support portal. So we got support.flowtrack.co. And if you pull up this site, we got some awesome training on here. We got some different video courses you can go through. So definitely check these out. And if you got the white label, of course, we got the white label videos. You can go in here and watch these, setting up your white label account, creating sub accounts, all of that. Now, if you want to get into designing websites, which was pretty much the topic of today's video, I would watch this one right here, designing sites. And this is a good way to kind of get your feet wet in the designer. But as always, you can use the built-in templates. Absolute easiest way to hit the ground running. And if there's no other questions for today, I will wish you all a wonderful week. And we got plenty more great videos to come. So have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care.